IVM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 17 of the Fighting G.O.A.T. My name is Arjun, aka Mystic Chipalkatti, with my partner and bro, Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra.
Buddy,
Kamra ji,
I am
aap
so
kaise ho?
excited. I'm already excited because we have a great guest coming in for the next segment.
Yes.
We have the winner of One FC's Apprentice.
Yes. Who is it?
Who is it?
Espanol and Venezuela's own Jessica Ramella. She's going to be joining us for a wonderful episode only on the Fighting G.O.A.T, hosted by the one and only platform IVM Podcasts. But you know what? Before we get to that, Somesh, we've had a hell of a week. My idol has fought again. Anderson the Spider Silva made his foray into boxing.
Yep.
The first time he fought, I think, was around 2005. And now he's come back at the age of 46 and he freaking dominated.
Man,
He dominated.
That was unbelievable. The way he did it, the manner in which he shut Chavez Jr. down was crazy. I mean, I'm just beginning to wonder, is this guy becoming better with age or what's really happening with him?
And you remember seeing the second and third round when he really started taking over. And in the third round, I saw shades of 2007 Anderson Silva when he was, slipping and jiving and talking trash and bobbing and weaving and, going into the corner and saying, come stand in front of me. Come and stand in front of me.
Man, it's crazy.
My God,
it's
it was
crazy.
so amazing to see.
We had Alistair Overeem who got released by the UFC, who signed on with Glory Kickboxing.
Yes, sir.
I just begin to believe, what if Anderson Silva gets into K1 or Glory? Man, where there's no stress of takedowns, no jiu-jitsu, no wrestling. It's just pure striking. And this guy at the age of 46 is just becoming better and better.
It's the entire function of skill versus age. He's one of those guys where the skill is there, yes.
Yeah.
Is he ready to take on the young killers of 25 and 30? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not the youngest killers. But if he starts fighting in a segment where you have a slight, the oldies fighting, the 40 years and above, I think Anderson can still make a huge dent because his skills haven't deteriorated to the point where he can't fight.
Absolutely. And the good part is that he's a marketable figure. He's always going to be a draw. The fights that Anderson Silva is in are going to be the money fight. So, man, I just hope he gets bigger paydays and puts on a show because, normally people get into boxing for the money. Someone like a Tyron Woodley would get there for the money. Ben Askren would go there, get knocked out, smile and just walk out. But Anderson Silva went out there, fought a damn tough guy like Chavez Jr.
Legit opponent.
Beat him and came out and he was like, dude, I'm good to go. So, I just begin to believe that it's a crazy sport out there. It's a crazy world.
We need to do like a separate, a second segment every few months to see how many fighters have started transitioning over to boxing now.
Yeah.
And, it's, GSP talked about fighting Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
And, you've got the Paul brothers who are haranguing all the UFC fighters and goading them, trying to come to boxing.
Well, the Paul brothers also, I believe yesterday he tweeted that I think I can beat Mike Tyson.
That is just that. I would invite it. If I was Tyson, I'd be like, "Come on, just do it, Tyson, do it." But the funny thing is that Anderson said something which is kind of weird because I read the news this morning and he said that he wouldn't mind working with the Paul brothers to improve their skills.
He's such a good guy at heart, man. This dude is such a gentleman, but honestly, I don't know where this is going.
I mean, Silva, don't go to the Paul brothers, please. Please.
I was just super happy to see him win out there. And man, his showboating, his antics didn't stop. He was there in the corner. He was inviting Chavez, saying, "You come here and fight with me." There is one thing. There is one thing of going in the corner of an octagon where you still have space to move because there are 8 sides. But being in the boxing ring where it's pretty much a 90-degree, going out there and calling someone is extremely dangerous because you don't have space to move.
And goading them. He's not just going to the corner, standing there, waving his gloves, saying, "Come stand 6 inches in front of my face and try and hit me."
Oh, man.
I mean, you have to have a different level of balls to do that.
What a stud.
Seriously. And the funny thing is, Jake Paul also tweeted saying, "Congratulations, Anderson Silva," showed him a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And said that why don't you fight Roy Jones Jr. on the same card where I'm fighting Tyron Woodley?
Man, what an offer. What an
like,
offer.
we won't, like, you can headline it. You can headline the card and we'll be in the undercard.
Well, it's just, see, at the end of it, the Paul brothers are all about the money. And I'm just so happy to see this happening, because now the exhibition matches are having the yesteryear stars who are coming back, proving themselves.
Exactly.
And at the same time, they're making money. So why not? I think it's perfect.
Totally. I want Anderson to go out and make money, man. I mean, he gave his life to the sport. He was MMA's greatest champion.
Undoubtedly.
When we talked about how, remember when we said Khabib had a reign of 1,190 something days?
Yeah.
Anderson's reign lasted 2,570 days.
Wow.
Do you know that spans to about 6.7 years?
That's probably more than some of the animals that live on this planet.
Exactly. I mean, and some of your favorite fighters should not even live that far. No?
Yeah.
His name rhymes with Shakkar in English. I'm not going to say it. I'll leave it to Mr. Kamra only to do it.
But yeah, it was so good. It was such a refreshing week, because we saw the greatest of all time, Anderson Silva.
I'm so happy. I'm just generally happy.
Back in the ring, back in the winning ways, and winning in such style. But we should not forget the extremely smashing card, the UFC card, where Dan Ige fought Korean Zombie. Of course, a lot of people messaged us saying, yeah, it's such a drab card. But when
they can just FO,
when you look at the results, man, the first 3 fights ended with
bangers.
And I was like, how can you not wake up at 4:30 in the morning and see this?
Dude,
Matt Brown and Diego Lima back out there in the welterweight category.
This is second. Matt Brown has beaten both the brothers now.
Yes.
Douglas Lima and now Diego Lima.
Yes,
Douglas
the only
was,
guy
I think, 15 ago. Yeah, exactly. The only guy. And he beat Douglas like 15 years ago. And now he's beaten Diego Lima. Every time you keep thinking, are we going to count out Matt Brown? Because look, let's be honest. The competition has gotten heavier, and he's gotten, and it's not easy, man. And because the amount of damage he's taken over the years is incredible. He's taken some, and we all know a lot of fighters. When you fight for so many years, there has to be so much of tape on you. So you're not. A good camp will figure you out, but you can never rule out old man power. You can never rule out these guys, because they were warriors for a reason. Exactly. And that right hand knocked him the out.
It just knocked him out cold. And this is after being dominated for a round and a half. It was that left body kick and the right cross that just came through and shut the lights on Diego Lima. Diego Lima, I felt, got a little too comfortable. He kind of disregarded the skill and power of 40-year-old Matt Brown.
His hands were down, man. I mean, you can't disrespect a striker. I mean, if you know you're facing off against a striker who has legit power, Matt Brown's elbows, man, they've knocked out. They got the way he knocked out Diego Sanchez standing.
That was, that should actually not be allowed. It was that brutal.
It was amazing. Dude, really? Are you going to say that? It's not allowed. Come on. No. We are the Just Bleed crowd. Just Bleed crowd. We used to clap when the arms broke and stuff. And people were like, oh my God.
And what happened?
Is he okay? I'm like, break it again.
Bring it on, bitches. But the second fight that I really enjoyed was the fight of the night, Marlon Vera versus Davy Grant.
Cheeto.
Marlon Vera, 28 years old, ever improving, and is still called a veteran, but he's just 28,
and he's beaten your favorite fighter also, if I'm right.
Absolutely. He has beaten my favorite fighter. Unfortunately, his last fight versus Jose Aldo didn't go, but again, Jose Aldo is Jose Aldo,
man. Come on.
But in the bantamweight category, Ecuadorian power currently training with Jason Parillo in RVCA camp. Where you've got people like Michael Bisping walking, you have Chris Cyborg walking, and now you have, who's the gentleman making a comeback? I actually forgot his name also. He's come back to camp.
Misha Tate trains there as well, if I'm wrong.
Misha Tate is Extreme Couture.
She's still, I think, but a lot of fighters have started training with Jason Parillo because his striking is unbelievable.
Yes.
I think guys like Parillo, Dwayne Bang Ludwig, Matt Brown, Mike Brown, they're all on the same level.
Right.
They're all on the same level now.
Former fighters who've become great coaches, I think it's a great place to be.
But DC, Marlon, man, what a coach DC is also for wrestling. Shit.
Crazy.
Guys like Kevin Holland have to go to DC to train.
Absolutely. One of the best in the business in the bantamweight category.
But I got to come back. I gotta come back to Vera, man. Vera is so creatively unique with his strikes because he took on, the British own Davy, and Davy is a slugger. Like, he will come and take your head off, and he comes in with power. But I mean, the kind of beating he put on him, he busted him up.
Man,
he got him bloodied up.
Elbows,
those elbows came in from different angles, man. And walking through, can you imagine stepping forward with an upward elbow?
That's the one that just cut him straight through. And I was like, man,
sliced him. And it was incredible to see. It was absolutely amazing.
Definitely worth each penny. Waking up in the morning or even paying for this card, it was worth all of it. It was a pleasure to watch. And I mean, Alexei Olenek, Sergey Spivak didn't live up to the expectation, Chips.
I can't blame it also, because Alexei Olenek is also he has 700, 800 odd fights, if you don't count his childhood and the schoolyard brawls. But
he's
been around for a very, very long
somewhere
time.
Closer to the 75 fight mark. But,
I mean, that's not even funny. 75 professional fights to put your body through 75 training camps.
Man, that's crazy.
And
he's 43.
He's 43 years old. And, to survive in that heavyweight division, I mean, he's so lucky he's got a head made of titanium, because it's almost impossible to knock him out. But you saw that. I mean, you saw Spivak just teeing off on him. I mean, I don't want to sound mean or rude, but the minute he steps up in competition, he's going to get hurt. Badly.
And
I mean badly.
To be honest, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. I don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. But I mean, my prediction says he could be cut very, very soon by the UFC, because
it might be for his own good also. Yeah?
He's a guy who's fought the who's who. And I don't know how lower down the order he can go from Sergey Spivak. It would be very sad for him to fight like a 25th ranker or a 30th ranker fighter in the UFC. So, as you rightly said, it's better for him that he takes some time off, or he walks away from the sport. Maybe a different organization, I don't know, but that takes us to the main
Bellator,
event.
Man. Maybe Bellator has
Yes.
I mean, they need some ONE FC. I mean, we've had such a great relationship with ONE FC off late.
Yeah,
and we've been seeing their fighters and talking to them, and they have a roster of some real killers too. So
man, ONE FC has some killers in that heavyweight division.
And
right now, the champion obviously is our very own Canadian Indian Arjun Somesh. However, that takes us to the main event of the evening, where the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung takes on the young blood, hot-headed Dan Ige.
Dude, I love how he walks out to Cranberry's Zombie.
Oh yeah,
every time. And I'm just, I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like singing Zombie. He's amazing, but he did not behave like the zombie this time. He was so calm and collected. He timed his shots. He timed those counters. When he attacked, he made it count. He wasn't swinging for the fences anymore, and he chained his wrestling and grappling so well with his strikes.
I mean, it was really, really something else.
Dan Ige got outclassed, man. I mean, Dan Ige is such a tough guy in his own right.
Right.
But he really couldn't do anything against it, because the zombie's counters were so on point. His striking, when he got aggressive, he landed everything that he wanted to. It was just a tough fight.
One very interesting thing about the Korean zombie is what I've seen is that he had a very, very good career in the UFC when he came in, and he's been through some wars, especially
Leonard
that
Garcia.
fight. Especially that fight with Yair Rodriguez. Where he got knocked out in like the last
he was winning
seconds.
He was winning that whole fight.
Exactly. But the amount of punishment he took, it was that one correctly timed elbow that changed the entire ball game. However, his last fight before Dan Ige with Brian Ortega is what I thought changed a lot of things, because he just went through so much punishment. He probably realized that he cannot be the zombie anymore, and he needs to be a little calmer.
Exactly.
So that his career can kind of stretch a few more years. He's 34 years old. He's been in the Navy.
Wars, dude.
Yeah, I mean, also he's, he took some time off. He went to the Navy in South Korea. Which is a compulsion. And when he came back, I think he was a different human being for the better.
It's like
he has a chin
combination.
On him, no doubt.
He has a great chin, but I think it's a combination of. You remember what happened when Brian Ortega took on Max Holloway? Max Holloway was literally holding up Ortega's hands, teaching him how to block, and then punching him through that. I think it was one of those moments where, and then Ortega took 2 years off and came back. And then he came back to face, when he took on Zombie, you saw the difference. Ortega's striking was so much better. He controlled the pace everywhere. And I think he made Zombie realize that he can't be reckless anymore.
Yes, exactly.
And now Zombie has come back and did the same thing to Ige. Systematically broke him down. He didn't even look gassed. Nothing. He was on point.
I mean, it was, and the good part about Zombie is that even though he's out there, he's countering all of that. After each round, there's always that little, fist bump. After the fight, he kind of goes and hugs.
He's just a sweetheart, man.
He's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy. And it's good to see killers being nice guys after competition. And man, kudos to this guy. I think he has a great career ahead.
Dude, he's such a prospect at bantam, man. Yeah. There are such killers at bantam.
He's always been in the top 5. In the last, I don't know, since I can remember, maybe 6 or 7 years, he's always been.
Aljamain Sterling is the champ at bantam, right? Yeah, he is. Oh. Don't take a deep breath. It's okay. We all know that there's an asterisk there. But it's also the former champion Jan's fault. You don't kneel down.
Absolutely.
And I think both men have learned their lessons.
Aljamain Sterling, the only UFC fighter to probably go and win an Oscar sometime soon.
Trust me. He doesn't need any criticism from us. The internet has made their feelings very clear. Yeah. And say what you want, you can never escape the internet. You can never escape.
Absolutely, But yeah,
it's incredible the way that entire bantamweight picture is shaping up now. Because when is the rematch, by the way, with Jan versus Arjun?
Well, it's not officially declared as yet, but Jan is pushing really, really hard to have it this year.
I think Jan, whoever's handling his Twitter or he's translating himself, he's just going after Arjun.
Yeah.
And it's rightfully so, because up until that mistake, he was leading 4 rounds 0.
Absolutely. In fact, it was my favorite guy, Sugar Sean O'Malley, who jumped on that bandwagon and said, I would love to fight Jan in Russia.
Wow. You know what? Wouldn't you be happy if that happened? Jan versus... hang on. Jan versus Aljo for the title and Cheeto versus Sugar Sean on one card.
Well, but Cheeto has already broken him really, really badly. So I don't see that rematch happening. And Jan skill-wise is just in a whole new planet altogether. So I don't see that happening. But yeah, Sugar Sean O'Malley is trying to be like a corner proteage in the bantamweight division. Good for him, because he's obviously raising his stock. The PR is great. The chap is a character.
The visibility. I never say any good PR. There's nothing called bad PR. It's going to be PR is PR at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And all visibility is good visibility.
And speaking of PR, I cannot wait to welcome our guest in the next segment. We'll be right back after the short break with our very own Apprentice 1 Championship Edition winner, Jessica, on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey everybody, welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Cred and Sia. Thank you so much for making this possible. We've had an amazing week on the network. Do check out The Note with Mahrukh Inayat. She speaks to Prabhat Kumar, the man leading child protection at one of India's leading NGOs, Save the Children. On The Habit Coach, Ashton was joined by Rajat Mittal Shah to talk about some superfoods in Ayurveda like turmeric and ashwagandha. On Paisa Vaisa, host Anupam Gupta has a digital gold special in 2 parts, one with Ashraf Rizvi, founder and CEO of Digital Swiss Gold, and Gilded, and one with Deepak Appet, co-founder of India Gold. Listen to the first part of the Father's Day special of Agla Station Adulthood with Natasha and her father, Dr. Vipul Roy Rathod. You should also check out Cyrus Says' episode with Mukul Chadda. He talks about upcoming shows Sunflower and Sherni. Our Kannada podcast, Thale Artist, celebrates 100 episodes, and we had a reunion of hosts Pawan, Ganesh, and Surya who shared their favorite moments from the past. Shiva Mehta is back with the second season of Smile India. The show is available in both English and Hindi. On this episode, she talks about the conversion from bag teas to bagless ones and how we should ditch the plastic and have a great tea experience. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fighting G.O.A.T. My name is Arjun, the Mystic Chips, with my buddy Somesh Kamra. Like we spoke to you in the first half of our show, we have a very, very special guest coming on. She is the winner of the Apprentice Season 1 FC Edition winner, Jessica Ramella.
Woohoo!
Welcome to our show, Jessica.
Welcome to the show, Jess. How have you been?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have you. In fact, you have a lot of fans here in India.
Do I?
Who have been speaking, who have been tweeting, and who have been saying, "Oh yeah, let's go."
Oh, they've been writing to us. Now we can't read all the questions that they've sent because come on.
I mean, all five.
No, so we filtered out the best, and we're going to come at you with some of them. But how have you been?
Yeah.
How have you been throughout? How's it been going? It's been a grueling time.
Yes. So I've been great. I mean, I've known for a few months. We've been waiting for the entire show to be over. So like my big secret is out in the open. And like now I feel like I got so used to the secret that when people tell me about it, I'm like, how do you know? Like almost for like a second,
Are you talking about The Secret or what secret? Like because
the secret that I want.
A couple of years ago, there was this book called The Secret. Because people might think you're referring to that. So you got to be clear.
No. Okay. My secret that I won the show. So, friends, family, like I didn't tell anyone, probably with the exception of my mom. That's it. So everyone in my life was completely in the dark and not expecting it, but not really sure. And when this is now out, it's just like, this entire week has been insane. Just like messages and support from strangers and family and friends and like people that I haven't talked to in years and my school and just like so much love from everywhere. Yeah.
That is so awesome. That's so awesome. I mean, and honestly, there's money in the bank, so that's good for you.
Not yet. I have to work.
It's spread across. It's spread across.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yes.
Oh man, it's such an honor to have you here. It's great to actually speak to a winner of the Apprentice, and what better situation to have than the winner of the Apprentice One Championship Edition. So man, it is such an honor to have you. Thank you so much for making time. Chips, let's just dive straight into the questions.
Let's get it. The hot talk.
Oh boy.
The first thing is such an interesting question that someone wrote to me is that, Jessica, you moved from an all-girls school where you didn't perform well to a co-ed school with girls and guys, and you performed well. How were you entertained in this entire journey? And how did it make a difference to you?
I don't even know how you guys know this. Okay, so
we're fixating on the word entertained. Like I don't want to get into too much. I'm just going to let you talk.
It's a very interesting question, actually. I think, look, in the all-girls school, it was also like a Catholic nun school. So it was super strict. We had to have like perfect hair, perfect shirt, all tucked in, the socks up to our knees, like the full thing.
Right.
And I think I was just a really rebellious child. I was a bit of a tomboy and like I just didn't care for any of that. So all of these rules just made me want to behave even worse. And I think I started creating a bit of like a fame around me of like Jessica being a little bit of a troublemaker and not being that good at like studying or not getting good grades. So then the teachers, I think like they had it out for me. That's kind of like one of my theories. I was also pretty naughty, but and I was young. And then when I was to the next school, I think because also I didn't know anyone and I didn't want to be like seen as dumb or like that I didn't know what I was doing, I kind of had to put a little more time into studying and I didn't have friends. So I was actually paying attention in class and things like that. So I think like that helped me transform things. But also in the second school, I think like it was a more alternative school. It was a little bit more open-minded. There was a lot more focus on like sports and different things that actually kind of like helped me channel a lot of my energy and entertain myself, as you said. And it already helped. Also, I think, working with boys and girls and being this kind of co-ed, it also creates an environment where you get a variety of people. So you have like, you can bond instead of kind of like all these girls just sitting together that just at the age that I was there, we all essentially are trying to just copy each other. So yeah, it's a little bit of that.
So,
that is, like that's so awesome because being a daughter of two doctors, you're actually a rebellious tomboy going out there having a great time. And man, I just love that.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
It's so funny, the question that I was coming to in terms of, you're talking about rebellion and you're talking about change. Your new school was in Caracas, correct me if I'm wrong. Or you were in Caracas before and then you moved.
Exactly.
Right.
So I was in Caracas and I moved to Margarita Island, which is like this tiny little island in the Caribbean.
I'm sorry, you called it Margarita Island.
That's right. It's not
Why
a
did
drink.
you leave?
It's not the pizza.
Why did you leave ever? It says Margarita Island. Sun, beach, sand, margaritas.
That's kind of what it is. Exactly.
That's the end of the interview, actually. I'm done. No, the question I'm actually coming to is you made a change early in your life. you made a shift. It's not easy switching schools. It's not easy switching cities at a young age. What was the thing that changed it? Was this the move? Was it the move to a different city? Was it a move to a co-ed school that changed your outlook, which framed the future of your life, where you started seeing things differently?
I think you're right. I think it definitely, the big move put me in a place where I had the opportunity to reinvent myself and just to sort of figure out who I wanted to be in this new school. I could technically have told them whatever I wanted and it was true unless they could prove otherwise, right? So I thought a lot about the relationships that I had and the friendships that I had and sort of maybe the areas in which I wasn't that satisfied and maybe I put a little bit of change. I think the fact, again, that I wanted to impress people. Right. And I think in the previous school, the one in Caracas, if you were one of the bad girls or if you just weren't amazing in class, you were the cool girl. In this school, interestingly, actually the cool people were actually top of the class. So I think that also, which it was very strange. I've never experienced.
So basically, I would never know what that means because neither was I on the top of the class, neither was I the cool kid.
Exactly, but you were happy in the middle. I feel balance. That's it. And I think in my mind, I am the kind of the perennial tryhard. I always want to blend in some way or another. And I think that maybe at 14 forced me to then say, well, if all the cool people are good in class, maybe I also need to be good at studies. And I kind of managed to blend in a different way. But I think also the way they taught, the way that they channel our energy was a little bit different. It was a much longer day in school, but we then had a ton of activities. And then we had classes mechanics or cooking or micro business, very alternative school.
That was a very different
sense.
School. Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditionally, we won't see that in.
Agreed.
That's
well, in
beautiful.
Venezuela either, actually, is a quite unique sort of school in this island, kind of created by some parents that decided this is not really working for us, the schooling system, let's create a new one. So it had all of your classes as normal, plus this weird area to it.
Wow, that's excellent. That's excellent. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you were born in Venezuela and you moved into the US and you were in London, and all of this happened when you were 20 years old. Yeah. So does it really make a difference to experience life, culture, people, food at that young age? Is that one of the reasons why you could adapt in The Apprentice and why you actually proved to be one of the superior candidates?
I really do think so. I think my ability to adapt and to be flexible, I do feel it's very advanced, and in the sense that, going from Venezuela where I barely spoke English to then move to the US, to then move to London, to then move to Singapore.
You barely spoke English and you speak this way?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Wow.
Rubbish. Yeah. She's being modest.
Wow.
No, I spoke fluently, but by the time I got to the US, I sounded something like, hello, my name is Jessica, how are you? I'm very happy to be here today. This is kind of how my accent was,
I kind of like that accent, to be honest.
It just shows how beautifully you adapted and you evolved.
Thank you.
Kudos to you.
It's incredible, man, because, when you look at people, when you look at a lot of people, they come from such varied backgrounds. But I mean, you grew up in a Latin country, you moved to America, you came to England, you were part of the European Union, you studied you tried to make your way to study in the European Union, and you had to work. You had such a way. When I talk about varied backgrounds, I mean, she started at serving ice cream to working for an IT software company. And and then when you talk about that, and then you suddenly say...
And both start with I, so it's always about I.
And the funny thing is that what drew you, after such a varied background, after so many interesting things that you've done, what really drew you to ONE FC? Because this is a fight company. It's a fight organization. And you have such a different background. What really got you there?
So I think The Apprentice as a whole came into my lap in a quite serendipitous way. It just essentially, my friend of mine told me they're looking for more people to apply for The Apprentice, and I think that you should apply, and I think you'd be fantastic for this. And then I was just I'll never apply for this. I'm not going to be in a reality TV show. There's no
because
way.
I was thinking Donald Trump and Chhatri Sityodong together doing the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. That didn't even cross my mind. But for me, I was reality TV, no, sir. I just kind of shut it down straight away. But then that day I got home and I clicked on the link that she sent me, and then I read Chatri's story, and I read about, one championship and what he's built and what his mission is. So even though it's a fighting company, like it's way more than that. And where his vision lies, I think it's also like quite beautiful and very ambitious. So in that sense, I feel like there's a little bit for everyone. But then what really like enchanted me was Chatri's story and how similar it was to mine. So we come from very similar backgrounds in the sense of like we left our country at a time of crisis. We're both only children. Our moms are housewives, and around our 20s or like late teens, 20s, our fathers leave our families. So then we're left kind of with like the responsibility alone of our mothers, and all of these little things that were so similar to mine. I just felt like, if I'm going to have a mentor, why not someone that is a mentor that understands my journey and that, has walked a little bit, I guess, on my shoes. And
that's fantastic.
For me, I was just like, I felt like an instant kills all over instance for me not to apply. And I did.
See, that's what I'm saying. This is incredible. I mean, to draw that connection without even meeting, like, okay, there are enigmatic characters around the world. There will always be enigmatic characters around the world. But I think you're one of the first people that we met who literally dropped everything. She had a well-paying job. And that she, even though she had moved to Asia from England, and then you dropped it to be part of a reality show. I mean, I can understand if I was, absolutely, when we look at reality shows, you're thinking about Love Island and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it's amazing that you got inspired. That's amazing.
Oh, I loved it.
Man. In fact, we even spoke to Neeraj Puran Rao, who had a very similar story where, he didn't really want to be here, but one of his friends told him about the show, and he, kind of just went back home, checked it out, applied, and boom, he got through.
It's crazy, man.
So, man, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's funny. Why don't we think of this stuff, man? We could try. Maybe the Apprentice 2 or something. Jessica's the boss there along with Chatri and Niharika, and then we're just standing there like, oh, I remember you guys interviewed us like a year ago. Who are you again?
Well, brownie points.
That's it. I'll either like give you.
We're kind of earning a brownie points.
Harsh with you.
Sounds good.
Man. That's awesome. But speaking of the show itself, the show was superb. In fact, I saw almost all the episodes. It comes on Republic TV here in India. Yeah. And what I saw during the show, especially with you, Jessica, is that you love to have fierce competitors opposite you. Is there some reason why you like to have that kind of competition? Does it drive you? Does it push you to your best? Because I think one of the episodes, episode 6 or 7, you had an argument with someone. And the argument, I don't remember the person who you had it with, but I do remember that you had an argument with someone, and Chatri came later and, he kind of pacified you guys, and it was all in good sense. Yeah. So is that fierceness inbuilt, or did you build it for the show?
Oh, no. This is definitely my character. I think, I'm not someone that is particularly argumentative at all, or I don't like fighting. If anything, I dislike confrontation in that sense. I feel like I only have it when it's necessary. And at that moment, it was kind of like a do or die type of moment. Someone was sort of lying or sort of saying things about me that were not particularly fair. I didn't agree with. And I also felt in this competition, like you have to be sharp and you have to have steady hand, like you need to make your decision on that moment, and it could be the right decision or the wrong decision, and you get eliminated. So staying quiet could cost me my place in the competition. And this was way too important for me to allow anyone, let alone some, girls that are just trying to like put me down for no reason.
That's beautiful.
It's funny that you
that is so apt.
You speak about mentality. Somesh and I have talked about it throughout. We've interviewed a lot of athletes, especially when we spoke to some athletes from different organizations. They have one trend in common. They're not aggressive people. They're not confrontational people. But when push comes to shove, you got to be ready for it. So that being said, when you won the show, and now you're going to be Chatri's right-hand woman, his chief of staff in the Singapore office, what do you feel about, do you think you have to bring the same mentality to the fight game? Because that's how fighters are. They are calm, collected, normal people till you shut that cage door. And then the aggression comes out. Do you think the lessons that you learned from the entire show are going to significantly help you with your transition to the fight world?
Absolutely. I think actually this is something that sets me apart from other people. The fact that I already have that fire within me and I'm able to be quite controlled and quite measured and quite serious. And at the same time, if I need to just speak up or say what I feel or actually be vulnerable and share something, like I'm quite okay doing so. And I think that's probably what Chatri saw in me, the fact that I that I've been very honest and quite raw with him throughout. And it would be a mistake for me, I think, to just now change it. I went through the toughest job interview of my life. Now I have to go through the toughest job of my life. So,
Somesh, it's so true. We talk about so many bosses around the world.
Yeah.
When you talk about the business world, but I can say one thing with confidence in the mixed martial arts and boxing universe is that I think more than anything, it's raw honesty that's valued over anything. They don't want yes men. They don't want naysayers. They want somebody who'll say, you know what, screw it. I don't know this. F- it. I don't know the answer. But let me figure it out. And then you're rewarded for that more than punished.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. In fact, Jessica, you have such a healthy relation with Neeraj Puran Rao.
I do.
And I do believe that you had a good, conversation with Ritu Fogam. As the right-hand woman of a Chhatri, would your role and responsibility include getting one into India or developing the Indian market?
You must. No.
I mean, if I had anything to do with it, I would love to. I don't know the answer to that yet, but I definitely feel like it's something that I would love to be involved. I mean, anything that is with regards to the expansion of one and, going to all these amazing developing markets, like I think it would be, I mean, let's be honest, like India is a continent, like it'll be a gold mine.
It is. And mixed martial arts in India is growing so rapidly. I mean, we've been talking to fighters like Gurdarshan, Gary Mangat as well from ONE FC. We just spoke to him recently. And that's what he said. All arrows are pointing in that direction. It's going to happen eventually. But now the question is, how quickly are you going to do it? You're going to have to answer now. No,
it's
we
part
lied
of my
when
90-day
we said
plan.
No, hang on. We lied when we said this isn't hard talk.
Do you remember I'm going to judge you on season 2, right? The harder you make it for me.
Fair enough. I can absolutely respect that. But I've just got one more question for you. At the end of the day, it's with all your experiences, all the things that you take away from the show, and the way you reacted throughout the show, the way you reacted to the situations around. What advice would you go out there and give to young budding professionals? We always ask this from people who've crossed a certain milestone in their careers. What advice would you give in terms of, to all the new young budding professionals who are trying to get into not only just this business, but any business for that matter?
I think my advice would be, I always tell people to be brutally honest with themselves, to understand their strengths, but also really understand their weaknesses. And then once you identify those weaknesses, work at them, become an Olympian at those weaknesses. So in the sense that you put the time, you put the work, and then you become really good at the things that you're bad at. And then the ones that you're good at, like you're already good at. So like in that sense, you're creating that comfort around discomfort. You're also creating resilience. You're putting the work, you're earning your stripes. And I feel like in that regard, if you're willing to go through that pain and to like be comfortable with the uncomfortable, then you are going to succeed no matter what.
I like that line. I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. Comfort around discomfort.
Yep.
I'm going to put that on a t-shirt, and then
I love
put
that
your
line.
name underneath that.
And you wear that shirt for season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And we walk in, both of us walk in wearing comfort around discomfort. I'm like, remember us now, Jessica? Remember me now?
How could I forget?
Well, that is awesome. Jess, you have a lot of support from India. In fact, there have been a lot of people tweeting about the ONE championship show. So what is your message to the Indian fan, especially now that you're a winner and you've won one of the biggest shows on the eastern side of the world? What is your one message for the Indian fans?
My one message for the Indian fans is...
It could be 2 also.
I mean, I think it's more like...
Mixed messages are also welcome.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for believing in me, for supporting me, and for relating with me. And also, I just want to let you guys know that I love your country. I love your food. I love your culture. One of the best trips in my life I've done was in India, and I can't wait to visit again soon.
Awesome. Where did you go, by the way? Where did you go in India? Where did you travel?
So I've been to Delhi, Agra, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Goa, and that's it.
Goa is technically, it's India, but...
Wow. So you've pretty much seen the good side of it.
But you didn't come to the West. No, hang on.
Not yet,
Bombay.
I know. But I mean,
come to Bombay.
Rajasthan took my heart.
Man, Rajasthan is amazing.
Jaisalmer was so beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah,
It really is.
It is.
It's absolutely amazing.
No doubt.
It's incredible. And it was incredible talking to you, man. Somesh, we have so many guests, and it was so lovely speaking with you.
Oh,
absolutely.
thank you.
In fact, it was such a beautiful conversation with the winner of one championship show, The Apprentice,
Woo!
Jessica Ramella, one of the most pleasing personalities in the business world, and now going to be Chhatri's right hand. So guys, stay tuned for the next segment. We'll be right back after this short break.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, host of the Empowering Series podcast on the IVM network. I happen to be a peak performance coach and leadership coach by profession, and I'm here to share with you productivity tools, life-altering techniques, and real-life hacks to help you achieve your maximum potential in everything you do, your relationships, professions, careers. So tune in every Monday to unleash your inner power. Be safe, be well, be empowered.
Welcome back to the Fighting G.O.A.T. This is Mystic Chips with the Superhuman Kamra. And what an amazing guest we just had. I mean,
dude, I'm inspired.
Jessica Ramella, you see where she came from, the kind of challenges she had at the age of 20 to leave her family, her friends, everything, come and work in one of the most competitive cities in the world, in London, and then find her way to not only just Asia, to come to be a part of a reality show and to win it, to get a $250,000 yearly contract to be Chhatri Sittadong's chief in Singapore.
You have got Chhatri on one side, you've got Niharika Singh on one side, and you've got Jessica. Man, this is such a firepower boardroom. I cannot wait for one to enter India. I think they are a great company, great prospect.
Exactly.
I would love to see them in India.
And more importantly, Jessica, if you're listening to this, which I'm sure you will, remember, season 2, we are coming with our t-shirts.
Yes. It is.
Hang on, what was the t-shirt? What was the t-shirt called? Hang on, I'll tell you what it was. Hang on.
Jessica.
Comfort around discomfort. We're going to wear those t-shirts.
Comfort around discomfort.
Comfort around discomfort.
That is such a beautiful line. And in fact, it is so sweet that we have been officially, the wildcard entries of season 2 are Arjun Chipalkatti, aka Mystic Chips, and Somesh, Superhuman Kamra.
We're going to be called the Fighting G.O.A.Ts on that show. And yellow entry again, wildcard entry of the Fighting G.O.A.Ts.
Oh man, I would love that. But such a calm, composed character, man. I love talking to. I know that these are winners. These are winners. I just love them.
The fact that they can leave Margarita Island just shows,
just shows the level of dedication.
Just shows the level of dedication.
Island,
any place that's called Margarita, it's like leaving Barbados.
Exactly.
Like, why would you go?
Why?
It's Barbados. You say, when we look at world conquerors and stuff, people back in the English Empire, England went after every country because they have such shitty weather and no spices.
Yeah.
You never see guys from Barbados say, hey, Bombaklan, man, let's go and discover the world. No, they're happy.
But Chips, I
sit on the beach.
I loved the Spanish encounter between you and Jessica. That was so cool. I don't know if we got it recorded, but that was so much fun. Jessica, you have to be back for a Spanish encounter with our very own Mystic Chips.
Yes.
But Chips, let's go down to the predictions for the following week.
Who's fighting, Somesh? Who's fighting?
Well,
it's the heavies, aren't they?
The heavyweight category, we've got rank number 3, Cyril Gane, taking on rank number 5, Alexander Volkov.
Oh my God, that's a fight.
And the co-main event, we've got OSP, Owen St. Preux, who's moved up from the light heavyweight category. Nice. He's taking on Tanner Boser. So
Tanner Boser is a tough fight, man. He's a cop. I think Tanner Boser is an ex-cop or something.
Man, he looks like
he brings it. He's the one who stopped Alexei Oleinik.
Yes, he did.
He's the one who stopped Alexei Oleinik. And Oleinik is so tough that he took the shots, but Tanner can do it. And this is a tough fight, man. It's a really tough fight.
Well, even a freight train going at 60 miles an hour cannot stop Alexei Oleinik. But this man did.
He did, man. He did. And OSP is in for a rough ride because you couldn't ask for a you want a tough fight entering the heavyweight division. You got it. Yeah. Tanner Boser is legit.
Man, it's crazy.
So, is it prediction time, my friend?
Well, this is extremely close. So let us go in for the co-main event: Tanner Boser versus Owen St. Preux in the heavyweight division. Chips, what do you feel?
I'm going to go with the cop, Tanner Boser. I think he can do it. He's tough. He's got great hands and pure knockout power. OSP, we have not seen him fight at heavyweight. And coming from light heavyweight, I don't know if he's going to bring that power with him yet.
Okay, I am going to go with the ever creative OSP on this one.
What?
I think he has the creativity to avoid the shots. At the same time, his left is always going to be dangerous. I think in a 3-round fight, it's going to be Owen St. Preux. That is my pick. As in Superhuman Kamra is going for the OSP. And Mystic Chips is going for the Cop Tanner Boza.
Hells yes.
Moving on to the main event of the evening, we've got the Frenchman Cyril Gane taking on the Russian Alexander.
This is so hard. This is very, very hard. This is very, very hard. Because Alexander Volkov is like some 6'11" or 6'7", and he's
a big guy.
Huge. But when you look at Cyril Gane, he's not small either. And he's those French. He's got that typical French kickboxing style. He's bouncing on the balls of his feet. He's got brutal body kicks. But so does Alexander Volkov. You know what? It's too tough. It's too tough because
but you have to make a call. Come on, Chips, you have to.
It's the number 3 seed who's going to be fighting one of the toughest heavyweights who has now become a lot calmer. He's put on, you saw it in his last fight. Volkov has put on some muscle now. He's heavy.
He has.
He's become heavier. His shots have become harder. Oh, God.
Well, and his last 2 fights, both have been stoppages. So he beat Walt Harris, if you remember, with that body kick. And he also beat Alistair Overeem with punches.
Okay, I don't want to hear about that. I mean, Alistair Overeem, I don't want anybody to, talking about Alistair Overeem getting beat. It's just biased, I get it, but stop saying ouch. Ouch. What are you going to do when they put up Francis Ngannou's video? You're going to just say ouch.
Well,
ouch.
For those that do not know,
just one long ouch with Francis Ngannou.
Cyril Gane is the training partner of Francis Ngannou. So
that is going to be very interesting. What he brings to the table. Striking wise, I would give them both the plus point because both are great strikers. I think it's going to be a chess match, or this might actually go into the grappling department. It might be interesting there.
Yep.
Let's see who gets it.
But in a 25-foot octagon, how do you think this would fare? Alexander Volkov versus Cyril Gane.
Those guys, when they both stand across each other, they'd be like maybe 2 feet of space between them. So they're going to have to engage. It's going to have to engage.
Yeah.
So, oh God, you're putting me in a very hard spot. But let's see. I'm going to go with Volkov.
Oh, man. Go with Volkov. In the show, The Ultimate Guide to UFC, it was the host, Sudhi Sachdev, and me that chose Cyril Gane. But our very own Katil Kabutar, Shashwat Maheshwari, said Alexander Volkov has the skill and efficiency.
And he's also more experienced
to get past Cyril Gane.
Cyril Gane hasn't faced a man of this caliber yet. And he's not faced a striker of this caliber yet.
Well, absolutely. He's got total, about 40 odd fights. Alexander Volkov, Cyril.
And Cyril Gane is also a very experienced kickboxer, yes. Yeah. But you, in terms of his number 3, he's right. He's primed to take the next, to get the title shot. This is a dangerous fight that he's taking, to be honest.
And he's unbeaten.
But it's just the way Volkov has done it. The way Volkov has shut out people's lights. Both are evenly matched. It's just going to be who blinks first.
Wow, that's crazy. So I'm going to be going for the Frenchman Cyril Gane. And Mystic Chips is going to go for the Russian killer. 6 feet 8 inches, 6 feet 7 inches, whatever he towers over all of us.
Yes.
Alexander Drago Volkov.
He's going to do it, man.
Those are the 2 predictions from the Fighting Goats.
Yes,
what
sir.
we suggest is you make your predictions and tag us.
Oh, hang on, guys. Our producers have told us that we have our gifts coming your way.
Yes, the gifts are ready.
The fridge magnets, we've got. I don't want to reveal everything. But we've got some stuff coming. So the more you tag me and Mr. Kamra on Instagram, Twitter, and IVM Podcasts with your predictions and your choices, the bigger and better your chances. And you know what, guys? In the future, if you keep playing this game with us, we're going to have you in for a shout out on our show.
Absolutely.
Eventually.
So make your predictions, tag us, hashtag us, and get a chance to win some extremely cool Fighting Goat merchandise. So, Chips, your handle?
Yes, sir. On Instagram, it is Arjun_Chipalkatti. On Twitter, it's going to be @MysticChipper.
That is awesome. For me, on Instagram, it is Somesh.Kamra. And on Twitter, it's Somesh_Kamra. IVM Podcasts on all platforms is IVM Podcasts. So what are you waiting for? Tag us, hashtag us, and get a chance to win some cool merchandise. Until then, We would see you same time, same place next week, only on the Fighting G.O.A.T.
Come learn and experience the ABCDs of being queer with me, Shunetro,
and me, Farhad,
on our show Gay BCD.
The two of us take you through our stories and experiences of being gay men in the city of Mumbai and have candid
and sometimes downright scandalous
conversations about sexuality, gay culture, and everything in between.
Catch new episodes of Gay BCD every Tuesday on the IVM Podcasts website, app, or wherever you get all your podcasts from.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IVM website, IVM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts from.